Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're talking about a new series. Hang on. There, much better. We're going to be talking about a new comic series that I've started. Yes. As well as some other things. This is Board Comix. Well, Board Comix Mini, a miniature sample of what Board Comix is. So, this comic, so far has, 10 completed episodes, plus one episode I'm still working on. Now, what is Board Comix? Well, basically, it's a comic where, I'll show some of the art off, Spsa and Fire Knight think of 1 to 2 words and build a story, build a short comic off of it. So, yeah, that's basically the main idea. Now, if you know about Spsa Comics, you'll know that I've made like 3 videos on it already. But those videos were pretty much just a brief overview of the series or of the comics and everything contained within them. So, I am launching a brand new series that will basically be going over the entirety of Spsa Comics, starting with What If Peach Got the Triforce, and ending with Board Comix. This will be an extensive review series, taking a look at all of them, or every comic ever made in the Spsa Comics canon, and it'll also go over some interesting lore stuffs and character tidbits as well. So basically, this will be an expanded upon mini series, expanding upon the brief overview video I made last year and my 2 Freedom reviews, the Freedom 2017 and the Freedom 2019 review. So anyway, stay tuned. So, what is Spsa Comics? Well, that's what this video is about. What Spsa Comics is. Spsa Comics is simply my comics brand. It is simply my comics brand. That's really all it is. And I've worked on 4 completed projects and have 2 ongoing ones. Those completed projects include What If Peach Got the Triforce, Freedom 2017, which isn't pictured here because I lost it, but I will be making a separate video talking just about that. And What If Mario Got the Triforce, also not pictured here, and I will be briefly touching upon that in a separate video as well, basically talking about why I don't have it anymore. My ongoing series include Freedom 2019. Yeah. It's a pretty big series, and I cannot wait to get to this video. SPSA Comics Sonic the Hedgehog, my Sonic the Hedgehog fan comic. The 2019 remake of Woody Peach Got the Triforce. Yes, because that's necessary. And Board Comics, which is this. The comic I briefly touched upon in the introduction video, which you should go ahead and watch. Anyway, so before we jump into the first thing I want to touch upon this video, let's get familiar with this character. This character, SPSA. Now, you may know SPSA as my online persona, but he's also the main character of SPSA Comics. He's pretty much my self-insert, and while he has grown and evolved past that, the fact that he was my self-insert is still evident in my work today. Now, of course, I wasn't alone initially when making these comics. I had help from this guy, who is known in the SPSA Comics canon as Fire Knight. He was my buddy Jay the Firewolf on Discord's self-insert, and he's basically the second most powerful character in the entirety of the series. The guy's able to come back from the dead, for crying out loud. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. These two characters would go on to kind of evolve and change as the series progressed. And also, before we continue, every single thing in SPSA Comics happens on a single split timeline, which I'll explain as we go through the series. So basically, What If Peach Got the Triforce is on this end, and Freedom is on this end. Well, Freedom 2019 is on this end. Freedom 2017 is somewhere in the middle. And then we have comics like SPSA Comics Sonic. And What If Peach Got the Triforce 2019. That's the sloppiest G I've ever done, but whatever. Is all on this split timeline. So everything is on two separate timelines, but to make it less confusing, the first few episodes of the comic, well, most of the comic, and I just realized I wrote spit timeline, but who cares? The first three comics we're going to be taking a look at this in this series all take place on the primary timeline, or the main one. Anyway, and Board Comics is in a universe all of its own. So anyway, I will also be covering in this series pretty much every character individually. So we'll be looking at Mario's evolution in the comic. We'll be looking at Mario's evolution in the comic. trying to draw these fast, but so the art's not going to be the best. Princess Peach's evolution in the comic, and more. So again, I'm trying to write fast. There we go. And more characters. But yes, this will be a complete, extensive review of every aspect of SPSA Comics. So, anyway, stay tuned for part 2 when we take a look at, oh boy, What If Peach Got the Triforce? In a little bit more depth this time than I went into in my overview video last year. So, stay tuned for that. Bye. Alrighty, SPSA Comics Marathon time. Let's see how long it's been since the last video. Has it really been 7 months? Oh, well, I have no other excuse other than burnout. Welcome to part 2 of the SPSA Comics Marathon. What if Peach got the Triforce? I have to consider this the black sheep of the SPSA Comics lineup, mainly because it doesn't really follow any of the current continuity, because I retconned this comic out of the timeline, but I still consider it a significant part of SPSA Comics history. But before we can talk about this, we need to talk about the comic I made before this that has officially become unrecoverable lost media. What if Mario got the Triforce? Yeah, let's get into that. I'm going to keep this as brief and short as possible since I don't have any visual for this. What If Mario Got the Triforce was a comic about, well, Mario getting the Triforce and his, and the wacky antics that ensued that may have involved Peach having a split personality whenever she got intoxicated, but we don't talk about that. The comic was destroyed because it was honestly the grossest thing I've ever made, and yeah, I didn't want to associate myself with that, because I feel like in terms of my humor, writing, and storytelling, I've matured past what was contained in that comic. But yeah, some of that still carries over to What If Peach Got the Triforce, which but we'll get into that. So before this comic became what it ultimately became, it started out as a direct follow-up to What If Mario Got the Triforce. Why did I decide that after that comic was a monumental failure in my eyes? Well, at least now it is. Back then I thought it was the greatest thing on planet Earth, because I was a middle schooler who had the sense of humor of a 2-year-old. But yeah, it ultimately became its own story with no connection to What If Mario Got the Triforce whatsoever. So let's get into a quick, heavily censored synopsis, so I don't get this video taken down by the YouTube police. So yeah, let's get into this comic's premise is also its title. What if Princess Peach from the Mario series got the Triforce from the Zelda series? Pretty self-explanatory, and her wish is right there. I will let you pause to read that, because I'm not doing it. But yeah, pretty much Peach decides to start over time itself, or I guess gain control of time itself somewhat with the Triforce. Decides to start over the timeline so that she creates it, sort of. It's convoluted and I hate it. Oh yeah, and that Link and Zelda were her children, and there's some other implications that come along with that. But we're going to ignore that for the time being and talk about the things I do like about this comic. for being one of my early comics, the art isn't actually that bad. It's definitely rough, and you can see things that don't make sense. Like, how would that building even be even remotely structurally sound? Or prison bars. I'm still not good at prison bars, but yeah, the art is fine for my 2016 standards. That toad is probably the best drawn thing in this entire comic, and that's saying a lot. Because I mean, there are some really badly drawn things, like Bowser. That's supposed to be Bowser. Am I high? I'm pretty sure I'm not, but was I? Because that isn't Bowser. Okay, yeah, the castle gets attacked, blah, 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 yeah. At the beginning, it kind of starts out as pretty standard Mario stuff. But I kind of subvert that by not having Peach get kidnapped, which, okay. Yep. There's no way that's Bowser. In what world is that Bowser? Apparently in weird stick figure land, that's supposed to be Bowser. But yeah, the art's not bad. Even the art drawn by Fire Knight, like this stuff, isn't bad. It's definitely not the best, but it isn't bad. And it has that tongue-in-cheek, self-aware humor that I'm still very known for today. That's a lot of that particular word. I don't think anybody has enough fluids in their body to even be able to do that. I don't want a debate started in the comments about that. Yeah, so the art's not bad. The story, for the first 8 parts at least, well, after part 3, the story isn't bad either. I just change up who gets kidnapped, and I did talk about SPSA in the introduction, or the what is SPSA comics video, or part 1 of this video series, but yeah, after part 3, and this is when I kind of combine parts. I don't do that anymore. Here's part 4. I don't combine parts anymore, just because I don't see the point. But after parts 3 and 4, I think the story actually gets pretty good. It's a simple good versus evil plot where the characters are going up against SPSA, who is the bad guy in this continuity / timeline. Yeah, so yeah. The plot, I guess. Oh crud, not again. Yeah. Well, it's not really a thing anymore since I've rebooted it, or since I've rebooted the continuity again. But SPSA has access to this magical comic. Breaking news, McCoy! SPSA is found and fixed the comic. We are screwed. Yeah, so yeah, there's some of that. At this time, I was very into SML, so yeah, there's that. that is a... Remember when I said, there were no references... Oh, wait, no, this isn't a reference to, What If Mario Got the Triforce. This is a reference to the prequel comic, What If SPSA Got the Triforce, that I do not have anymore. But, yeah, that is direct reference to that. And, yeah, basically, SPSA is the creator of this universe. He isn't anymore, although... Or I'm... He isn't the creator of this universe anymore, but he was. Yeah, SPSA is pretty much my self-insert, and he still kind of is, but yeah. And then the whole Fire Knight betrayal thing, I'm like, yeah, that was kind of weird. Trump can't save you now. He didn't really do anything though. But yeah, it's, yeah, the whole Fire Knight betrayal thing, it's kind of... I don't know why I drew that. The world, everything. There's not really any... The Triforce doesn't exist yet. He's right. It doesn't. But yeah, and then... So yeah, the war happens. SPSA is defeated in parts 6 or really part 7. SPSA and the Book of Traps, even though it's the comic of Traps if we're getting technical. Times 100 toads. I was too lazy to draw more than one toad. I don't know what... Is that Link holding a shield, or is that something else? Juan's holding a taco. Fire Knight's holding what looks like a donut. Bowser's holding a bob-omb. At least I think that's a bob-omb. But yeah, a very there's the bob-omb. A very anticlimactic fight ensues, and I don't have the comic that was used to further this part's plot, but hey. Yep, for some reason Peach has the Triforce of Power, because Ganon doesn't exist in this universe, but yeah, so things happen. The good guys win, of course, and yeah, they work to 60s Batman transition. Yeah, for some reason I was obsessed with that back then. But yeah, the castle's destroyed, so they have to work to rebuild it, and they do. Here's the completed castle. Yeah, but why does Link have a taco in his closet? Where's that? Oh, it's Fire Knight, yeah. I was supposed to be like, why does Link have a taco in his closet? But no, it's Fire Knight. Link's like, hey, sleeping is my thing, because that's a nod to how almost every Zelda game starts, but yeah. Yeah, so they rebuild the world, and SPSA is locked in prison. Now, Part 8 is what I believe to be the canon ending, because yeah, there's vomit on this page. It's what I believe to be the canon ending, because for some reason SPSA turned himself into a furry. I have no idea why. But yeah, this is the canon ending, because they do end up winning again. And yeah, the Part 8 is the canon ending. So yeah, Spsa escapes prison, gets the comic back. They end up fighting him again and locking him back up. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And yeah, these are just, I ran out of ideas, and I'm missing parts 9 and 11, so it's not really complete. Which is also why I consider part 8 to be the canon ending, or as canon as a retcon story can get. But yeah, so I'm going to, in this next segment, talk about deleted and altered things, because there were a few things that were changed from when it was a follow-up to What If Mario Got the Triforce to this final form. So let's get into it. The first thing you'll notice is that Peach doesn't have a, I guess, split personality when she's intoxicated, and yeah, that was a thing in What If Mario Got the Triforce, and that was going to be a thing in here. Because originally, Peach, or the personality of Peach that wasn't, I guess, lustful would be the right word? I don't know, but that wasn't all creepy, because I thought that was a good idea. But the one that isn't that wishes on the Triforce to somewhat fix the timeline, and it didn't really go anywhere after that. It just continued the same antics that What If Mario Got the Triforce already had. So I decided, why not just make a new comic with the same title, and we got this still huge mess of a comic out of it. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad, but yeah, it's a mess. And in terms of what this comic story originally was, it was always a mess. Like, I didn't have any prior, like, vision for it like I do for the Freedom reboot, which we'll get to. I didn't have any prior vision for it, and I think the vision I originally had is finally fully getting realized in the 2019 remake, which we will take a look at after Freedom 2017, which, again, just like that video from, just like that overview Spsa Comix video from 2019, I will be having to use old footage for that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Spsa Comix Marathon. Join us next time as we take a deep dive into the 2017 version of Freedom. I will see you guys then. I don't really do this in my plush videos, but note the graph. Only 9% of you who watch my content are subscribed. So, yeah. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2021. So, if you like my content and want to see more of it, please consider subscribing and leaving a like down below. But enough shilling, let's get to the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 3 of the Spsa Comix Marathon. Now, what is on your screen now is my old Freedom review from, my old Freedom 2017 review from, November 20th, 2018. So 3 years ago. Now the reason I am doing it this way is because I don't have this comic anymore. I can't show it to you guys. I can't give my thoughts on it. I can't do any of that. So I'm gonna let 2018 me do the talking, and I'll pause periodically to give my thoughts. So, without further ado, let's jump into... This might be mildly cringy, but let's jump in anyway. Hey guys, so I'm actually going to do something a bit different today in this video, and I'm going to be reviewing one of my my comics in this one-take video. Yes, bear. This is definitely, well, this part might be one take, but I don't do my reviews in one take anymore. Yeah, but that's not really important to the comic. I just thought that'd be something I'd point out. But, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Back to 2018 me. With me. Anyway, no, we are not reviewing What If Peach Got the Triforce. I don't think my stomach... Thank God. I already did that. Be sure to check out the previous episode. Can handle that right now. So we're gonna review something a bit more tame. Freedom. Okay, I said a bit more tame mainly because this doesn't involve any, you know, things that YouTube would, deem worthy of demonetization if, they were actually drawn well. But this one's story is kind of all over the place, and I'll kind of elaborate upon that, later on. And give some thoughts and tidbits, but, I think 2018 me does a good job of giving an overall overview of the plot, so I'll just let him do the talking and, elaborate on the plot, later on. So, yeah. I'm excluding the second volume because I'm still working on it, but... Yeah, I split this comic into 2 volumes for some reason. I think I did that after part 30 or something, or maybe after part 20. I'm not really sure, but yeah, for some reason I split it into 2 volumes. This isn't like the Freedom 2019 reboot where that is a completely different continuity, with a completely different set of events and different set of memories for the characters, with no connection to the previous continuity whatsoever because the previous continuity was wiped from existence. I just split them into 2 volumes for some reason, which is kind of odd. We're gonna review the first one, so let's, go. Oh yeah, I only reviewed the first volume, so I'll kind of fill in the blanks once we get to a good point where I can start talking about the, second volume, I guess. So I started this comic in either late November or early December 2017. Hey, good on you. Past me, that is correct. I did begin this comic in late November, early December 2017. And this comic was actually, once again, going to start out as a direct follow-up. This time a direct follow-up to What If Peach Got the Triforce. But then I grew some common sense and was like, that's a terrible idea. What If Peach Got the Triforce wasn't very good to begin with, in terms of story and characters. Some of the characters needed to be worked on, and we do actually revisit the What If Peach Got the Triforce continuity in Freedom 2017. Oh boy. But we'll get to that when we get to that. The first volume has technically 21 parts. I don't know why it technically had 21 parts. I didn't combine parts together or anything like that. This isn't like Freedom 2019 where there was a 28A and a 28B. There was just, for some reason, 21 parts when they were numbered to 20. Kind of odd. But, for all intents and purposes, there and you'll notice also, hang on. You'll notice that, before, part 40 of Freedom 2019, which we'll get to, the part numbers were centered underneath the title. Nowadays, I put it off to the side in a box with the Spsa Comix logo, directly below it. But back in 2017, I still put the part numbers, I still centered the part numbers below the, comics title. Just thought that was interesting to point out. Anyway, back to the video. And we get him out here. Okay, we'll set 19 and 20 off to the side. Yeah, so basically, let's begin at the beginning with the plot. Now,
I'll let him do the talking for the plot and elaborate when necessary.
the plot for Freedom, and I'll just let you guys just flip through the pages as I talk here. The plot of Freedom is basically there's a new it starts off with this demon named Nomad. Yes,
Okay, I should probably point out, the timeline was reset once again, which is why I said in the last video that Woody Peach Got the Triforce was retconned out of the timeline. But it was reset. Now, I originally thought it was reset by SPSA, but no, it was actually reset by Link. I don't know why. SPSA easily could have done it, but apparently it was Link, so yeah.
His name is Nomad, which is demon spelled backwards.
Now, I should probably mention that, Nomad and, some other characters that we'll get to were, borrowed/stolen from a comic made by one of my early high school friends. These characters are in Sonic Plushie, or not Sonic Plushie Stupid Adventures, what am I saying? In SPSA Comics, at least, these characters are very one-dimensional and not really that notable. I mean, Nomad is the main villain of the first few parts of this comic, but it's like, he's still really one-note and one-dimensional.
Comes from another dimension to get the Chaos Emerald so he can attempt to rule the dimensions. Well,
yeah, so Nomad's plot is pretty much get Chaos Emerald, rule a multiverse. Not like Eggman's tried doing that before, but, you know, whatever.
Luckily, two kids from the same dimension, fall out of the sky right in front of some...
This is the first, comic that heavily used the Sonic cast, because I was still kind of in my, huge into Sonic phase back then, so I used the Sonic cast heavily, and by the Sonic cast I mean Sonic, Tails, and Eggman, and Knuckles later on. I believe in the Mania story, which is the kickoff of Volume 2, I believe, but we'll get to that.
Sonic and Tails. Convenience at its finest, folks. And they basically just unanimously agree that there's evil afoot, and
because there is, why would they not unanimously agree that
they need to stop them? So basically, Nomad has possessed one of my favorite characters, SPSA.
SPSA is still my favorite character, and yeah. I'll more explain why SPSA is my favorite character in the next video, which is the Freedom 2019 video, because that comes next chronologically. But yeah, I'll cover that in the Freedom 2019 video.
He's a character based off of myself, and he kind of...
So I should probably mention, because I don't think he mentions it in the video, there's this Angel character. Sorry, I changed my position, so you probably heard background noise. But there's this other character named Legna, which is Angel spelled backwards. Yeah. Another character I stole/borrowed from one of my early high school friends' comics, but yeah, let's continue.
Symbolized my struggle when writing these comics. Like, in Woody Peach Got the Triforce, he was like the all-powerful being with who wanted to rule everything. No strings, no responsibilities. In part 2, or in Freedom, he he's still the almighty powerful being he was before. He's just there's less strings attached and stuff like that and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Okay, I should probably elaborate upon that. Yes, SPSA does represent what I go through to make these comics, and the story / lore of this has been expanded upon since then. Yeah, SPSA starts out as the almighty, all-powerful thing in What If Peach Got the Triforce, because I was just doing this for fun and as a fan, and didn't really care about story or characters. Freedom, he's still all-powerful and almighty and all that, but I've kind of dialed him back a bit. The story straight up begins with him getting possessed by a demon, so yeah, there's that. And then Freedom 2019, he's basically the same as he is in Freedom 2017, because I did brand it as a rewrite. I'd probably brand it as a reboot nowadays, but I branded it as a rewrite, so it was a rewrite of sorts of these events. And then the reboots kind of represents me kind of reeling it back even further. And you can see that in SPSA's character. He's not really all-powerful or doesn't really have the magical comic anymore, and he doesn't even know that he was originally the creator of this universe. But let's continue.
All of that is there and accounted for. But starting with part 6, we get into a kind of new side plot, I guess. Starting with part 5, I'll flip through part 2 anyway. Starting with the next part, or starting with parts 5 and 6, we get a new subplot, which is based off the plot of Sonic Forces.
It's a very, 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 very abridged retelling of Sonic Forces, with all of its terrible storytelling still intact, because back then I was still kind of in my Peach Fuzz era of not really of storytelling, where I didn't really identify what was good or bad storytelling. So I didn't rewrite Forces in Freedom to be any good. It's basically just a very, 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 very heavily abridged version of Force's existing plot with the SPSA Comix characters in addition to the Sonic cast. But yeah.
By that I mean I pretty much ripped off Sonic Forces. Well, I didn't really rip it off. I adapted it into adapted it for my comic. Happens all the time. Well, the Archie comics have done it before, and chances are the IDW Sonic comics will do it too.
Funny he says that. The IDW Sonic comics currently have not adapted any existing Sonic stories. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but currently they've been focusing on original stories, and I actually like that better. But this isn't a review of the IDW Sonic comic. I may give my opinions on that in the future, but this is a review of my comic. So yeah, let's get back into the video.
We'll do it too. But yeah, pretty much. This is still part of the Nomad story, but I'm just flipping through pages so you guys can see the wonderful, in air quotes, art. The same
wonderful in air quotes. I actually don't think the minimalist stick figure art style is that bad. It has a certain charm to it, especially how I do it. But yeah, we'll get to the art later.
This is the same art style I still use today because it's just me. It just screams me and yeah. So yeah, freedom. So basically, after the Forces story, we get to the next part of the plot, which is Nomad comes back and.
At least he does come back. I pretty much throw him away after I'm done with him in Freedom 2019, but we'll get to that again.
Yeah, now we're switching art styles, because why not?
There's actually a story reason for why I switched art styles. They're in another dimension, and this was the art style of the friend I kind of sort of stole these characters from. So yeah, that's why they look like that.
Nomad comes back, and possesses Sonic, which means our heroes from another dimension, Austin and Beatrice. I forgot to mention that.
Oh yeah, yeah. The characters who are team up with Sonic and Tails, their names are Austin and Beatrice, because those are the names of the characters. Yeah.
Names, so I might as well mention them now while I'm still talking about them, because they never appear after this point.
That is correct.
So yeah, they come back to help out Sonic and Tails. Here's the beginning of the Forces story. So I guess I was wrong. It was the beginning of, or it was the end of part 3. So yeah, I'm all over the place. But basically, yeah. So Sonic, they help out Sonic and Tails, and SPSA, but Nomad and Dr. Eggman, or Nomad with the help of Eggman, open a wormhole, and
oh yeah, I forgot about that. Nomad and Eggman will open a wormhole in an attempt to merge, or I think they merge. Well, I'll let 2018 me explain.
They're attempting to destroy the universe.
Oh, they don't attempt to merge anything. They attempt to destroy the universe by, I guess, sucking the dimensions into the wormhole.
Yeah. Pretty dark stuff here.
Not really, if you've played Sonic 06. Even then, that wasn't really dark.
PSA just flat out, sacrifices himself to save the world. To save the...
Oh yeah, I had this weird trend. This happens in Freedom 2019, too. I had this weird trend of killing off SPSA for some reason. I don't plan on doing... I'll probably do it again in the Freedom reboot, but, like... Or in the reboot, the Freedom 2019 reboot, but, like... My God! There's a weird trend of killing off SPSA, and I don't know why either.
To save to save everything he's created. Blah, I don't know why I couldn't say that, but, And the Resistance regroups about, I think, 2 years later, and decides what to do next. And, Eggman takes this as an opportunity to swoop in, and Sonic gets captured.
Sonic gets captured. Something that the actual Sonic comic writers don't really have the balls for. Come on, you can't have Sonic win all the time. Okay, that's not true. Sonic does get captured quite a bit in the Archie comics, but it seems like the IDW writers currently don't have the balls for that. The previous episode of SPSA Comics, or the SPSA Comics Marathon, has uploaded. Go watch it! Okay, I'll stop shelling and get back to my previous thought, but... Yeah, currently, in IDW, Sonic hasn't really gotten captured, and he kind of just sort of wins every time. So I'm starting to think the IDW writers don't have the balls to have Eggman kidnap Sonic anymore. Or, I guess, at all. But, yeah, so Eggman kidnaps Sonic, and I'll get to why that's significant in a minute.
During all that, Sonic gets captured and he spirals into a sort of, I guess, state of insanity / depression.
I don't really do as much as I really could have here. Oh yeah, this is still part of the Forces adaptation. I'm like, what? Yeah, so... yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Sonic, I bring back Dark Supersonic from Sonic X is what I was trying to say.
Which causes him to channel his inner rage and transform into Dark Supersonic.
Yeah, I don't really do as much as with this as I could have. I could have, like, actually shown, like, Sonic, like, going up against, like, super powerful badniks, or even Eggman siphoning his speed and power, and, like, show him getting it back through turning into Dark Supersonic by channeling his rage into it, but I don't really do as much as I could have with it.
Yeah, Dark Supersonic from the Sonic X anime, yeah, I'm using whatever Sonic plot points I can get here. But, yeah, he turns into Dark.
And I'm being very, very shameless about it. how things have changed.
Supersonic and escapes Eggman's clutches. And Spsa gets revived, so don't worry, he doesn't stay dead. He's just...
That is a trend, too. He does end up getting revived through some means. He doesn't stay dead.
Less powerful than he was before. But yeah, we have more freedom, more forces, but yeah, that's basically the plot.
Okay, there's a little bit more to it than that. In Volume 2, Eggman, I think Eggman conquers the world, or at least, yeah, Eggman has part of the world conquered because Spsa, in a last-ditch effort to undo what Eggman has done, even though he doesn't really undo it, he merges the Prime Dimension, or the Prime Universe in Freedom, with the What If Peach Got the Triforce universe. I guess that's kind of my way of enforcing that this comic has been erased from the Spsa Comics canon.
Of Freedom. And then there's the Mania side story there.
Oh yeah, the Mania side story. I should get to that. I pretty much do a retelling of Sonic Mania's plot within Spsa Comics twist. But yeah, basically, before I got into the Ultimate comic, which was this comic's follow-up that I've also lost, and I don't have any footage of that, but when I got into the Ultimate comic, I basically the last thing Spsa and Co. were doing were searching for refugees on a mountain that they could bring back and rescue and stuff. But the Ultimate comic was pretty much it was pretty much a new story with a new villain, Reject Guy, who I will elaborate upon in the next video. I don't know why that escaped me, but yeah, the next video is the Freedom 2019 review, which is where I will elaborate upon that. But let's get back into this video. I think I start talking about the art. Why am I saying he? It's the same 2018 me and 2021 me are two different people, but we share the same body.
Somewhere there's a Mania side story afterwards, and starting in volume 2, they're searching for the survivors of Eggman's onslaught, which,
yeah, I was right.
It's revealed to our heroes that there's only 20 of them.
So everyone else is either roboticized or dead? Okay.
Among them is Knuckles the Echidna.
And we get our introduction to Knuckles.
So yeah, that's basically the plot in a nutshell. Now let's get into aesthetic. Looking at this comic and Motive Peach got the Triverse, at first glance, the aesthetic style has not changed.
At a first glance, I do think the art quality has significantly improved since I don't know what that is, but since What If Peach Got the Triforce, like, the quality of the art has definitely improved between What If Peach Got the Triforce and this. The art itself is consistent. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, the aesthetic style between What If Peach Got the Triforce and this don't appear to be too much different. But I feel that as an artist, I've gotten better through that.
Yeah, I still agree with this sentiment. I do think the art has improved. Like, the quality of the art has improved. Now, the style is still the same, and it's been the same for 5 years. God, I've been doing this for 5 years. Jesus. Yeah, I've been doing this for 5 years. God, okay. Yeah, that really puts into perspective how much of a life I didn't have from 2016 to now. But yeah. I do think the quality has gotten better. The style stayed consistent, which I think is fine, but the quality's gotten better.
My years of making comics, or throughout my years of drawing, so we have that different art style, because I'm explaining the Spsa Comics multiverse, because it's actually really complex, and I'm going to explain it better in another project that I started. What if Nobody Got the Triverse? Yeah. The Adventures of Random Guy. That's what it's called. Ugh, I cannot.
The Adventures of Random Guy was kind of roped into the Ultimate Comic 2. Now, I do kind of explain the multiverse better in Freedom 2019. Sorry. Sorry. Allergies are freaking killing me. But I kind of explain the multiverse better in Freedom 2019, but I do go over it somewhat in this. Basically, there's a bunch of different dimensions. As long as you have access to something that can open a portal, you can jump between them. And there is a space in between the dimensions, similar to the Sonic Comics Special Zone. I forget, it had a name, but I forget what it is, but I imagine it's just this, pretty much imagine that a room of portals in the later Minecraft story mode, episodes, and yeah, that's pretty much what this space in between the dimensions are, and since I believe in the multiverse theory that, it's just an infinite hallway of infinite possibilities and infinite dimensions. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist.
These videos aren't scripted. They really should be, but no, whatever.
These videos still aren't scripted.
But yeah, we have a...
Oh yeah, and I forget what the space they're in this is called. I think it was called the Void. I'm not sure, but it is a void-like dimension where nothing exists unless it's drawn, and Austin gives SPSA a pen to draw with, and I actually do draw with a pen. So some dedication here.
All that. So yeah, the art style doesn't appear to have changed too terribly much. An 8.5. Explaining Juan's origins. That I'm probably...
Oh yeah, 8.5. Part 8.5 that explain Juan's origins. Juan has had so many different origin stories. He was created by SPSA to fight the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump. For some reason, I had Donald Trump. I painted Donald Trump as this kind of dictator. And I thought that was funny for some reason. No, I will not be doing the same with Joe Biden because I don't think that's nearly as funny. I'll continue doing the same with Trump. But not with Biden because I don't think that'd be funny.
Gonna retcon in the adventure. Then I'm probably gonna retcon in Random Guy anyway because it's a prequel to this comic.
It's not really a retcon if it's a prequel.
Now I'm thinking about dubbing this comic. Just reading it all.
I really wanted to dub this comic, and I may dub the first 40 parts of Freedom 2019 at some point, but yeah, that's dubbing this is a project that I did want to do that I didn't get around to, but yeah.
And just showing all the art as well, because there's a lot here that I want. Or yeah, just showing it off and dubbing it as well. So let me know in the comments if you want to see me do that. And also go follow my Twitter at SPSA211.
My Twitter is at SPSA222 now, because that original Twitter doesn't work anymore. In fact, it got deleted. So yeah, my Twitter now is at SPSA222 if you want to follow me. We're almost at 400 followers, so yeah, go do that.
Because I will be posting stuff. I will be posting updates and stuff on Freedom as they come out. So
I should start doing that. Just posting random out of context panels from some of my comics. Just because I think that would be a excellent use of my Twitter. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I had fun talking about my comic. I want to talk about them more. But anyway, yes, let me know if you want me to do more stuff like this, because I have a lot of, stories I want to tell in, a lot of stories I want to tell in this style. So let me know. Anyway, yeah, so, I hope you guys all enjoyed. I've been SPSA. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I upload. So yeah, see you guys then.
Okay, we're not watching this video. This is the updated SPSA Comics overview that I made in, let's see here, 2019. But yeah, so what we're basically what we're gonna do instead, and you can see my videos premiering now, so yeah, you guys can go check it out. But what I'm gonna do now is just give my final thoughts on Freedom 2017. Freedom 2017 was a pretty good comic that I didn't think really had its potential fully realized until the rewrite in 2019, which we will be getting to next. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of both look back at my original Freedom review, because it's the only thing I have left of that original comic, and also hope you guys enjoyed my added thoughts in this video. Anyway, again, only 9% of you who watch my videos are subscribed, so, yeah, please, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2021, so please like, comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy my stuff, or if you do enjoy my stuff, and, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Again, note the graph. Still trying to get to 100 subscribers before the end of 2021, so if you're not already, please subscribe. And also like the video. That helps out a lot too. Anyway, on to the show.
Okie dokie, it is time for the best of the best. Freedom 2019. The last stop on our journey in this 4-part mini-series. So strap in, because this is going to be a long one. So I'm going to go through this in sections. First thing we're going to do is discuss the first 15 parts of the comic. Then we're going to discuss these 6 parts. And then we're, for the most part, going to discuss the rest of the comic. So, let's jump right in. So, the first 15 parts, what are they about? Well, basically, new character, Reject Guy, decides to be evil and destroy the multiverse. Which he ends up doing. So our heroes have to, of course, band together and save the multiverse. Now, that's an overall summary. Now, of course, when I say our heroes, I of course mean, I'm going to just skip to part 11 to show off art. But I'll get to the art later. But, yeah, so Reject Guy ends up destroying the multiverse, but he's actually working under Nomad, the main villain of Freedom 2017. I don't know why I brought him back. But basically, yeah, from part 11 onward, it basically becomes a fight against Nomad. And thanks to an angry random guy, a super powered up Reject Guy, and Supersonic. Yeah, Supersonic, as you can see there. Obligatory Hamilton reference. There are a lot of those, folks, and it's a pretty common thing in my comics, and even in some of my more recent writing, it's a common thing. But yeah, so, yeah, basically, random guy looks freaking terrifying there. Jesus Christ. And then we got Reject Guy and, of course, Supersonic. Who, they all team up. And we got Caped Mario, because, of course, in many fan works, Caped Mario is like the holy messiah of video game power-ups, which I guess is kind of correct. It's probably one of the most overpowered Mario power-ups, but I wouldn't exactly call it the Mario equivalent to Supersonic. But yeah, they fight. Supersonic does a charged dash attack to deal the final blow, and Nomad is defeated. And that's pretty much it for the first 15 parts. They pretty much set up the story pretty well. Yeah, they set up the story pretty well, and you get a pretty nice conclusion of the series by the end. But of course, SPSA is dead, so yeah, our heroes have to fix that. So the series isn't over yet. But before we get to that, starting with part 22, let's take a pit stop over to see what Juan and Random Guy were up to before the events of part 1 of the comic.
yeah, for parts 16 through 21, I decided to give Juan and Random Guy their own side stories. And they're pretty well written. I think the comedy in these are pretty good. Pretty much the Juan the movie, as it's called, is about Juan trying to overthrow what was the president of the United States at the time, Donald Trump. Yeah, it's a really stupid plot. But Juan's the joke character, so I guess it works. Yeah, I guess it works, but yeah, so pretty much it's about, pretty much this is the pretty much showing what Juan was up to before the events of part 1 of the comic. And yeah, so it ends with Alaska not being an American state anymore. Okay, apparently Alaska is its own country in the SPSA Comics universe. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Probably doesn't, but hey. I didn't say it was the best writing. I just said it was the better written comic out of the 3 we've taken a look at so far. And then the Adventures of Random Guy is all about how Reject Guy came into power by selling his soul to Nomad, and how he was initially banished to the Reject Dimension, which is basically just this comics version of the Shadow Realm, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just Random Guy. Also, it kind of goes over the creation of Random Guy, because he was originally created by SPSA to defeat, or I guess pacify, Reject Guy and banish him to the Realm of Rejection, which is this comics version of the Shadow Realm. But anyway, yeah, moving on to the next segment, which will be the rest of the comic. So yeah, let's cut to that. Alrighty, parts 22 to 28B, the next section of the comic, and it's okay. It kind of devolves into a standard Sonic story later on, but it starts with a typical time travel plot where they go back to kill Nomad to bring back SPSA in the present. So yeah, I think it's 2 parts to do that. Yeah, so yeah, and he revives Fire Knight too, which is fun. And then we get to one of my favorite arcs, the Eggman arc, or yeah, where it's revealed that Eggman was pulling the strings the entire time, because the final mech they battle against Eggman is a Nomad mech. Nomad Mark II, but it's still Nomad. Oh yes, make him Nomad Mark II, because that worked so well the first time. They defeated this mech twice. But yeah, so yeah, again, this was supposed to be the ending, but I'm like, I have ideas. I can roll with more of this. But yeah, pretty much, our heroes run into a conflict with Dr. Eggman. I was parodying the Avengers Infinity War poster with this one, and I was parodying the Avengers Endgame poster with this cover. This one was just nothing in particular, but yeah, so. And yeah, these three parts are probably the best, because they're, yeah, so, yeah. I'm in a realm of rejection, my foot up your, but yeah, so, 56, I'm gonna have to look up what the final count is, because I know a lot of you are going to be curious what the final count is. But yeah, so they, throughout these three parts, they pretty much just take out Dr. Eggman. Oh, right, they're also sent to the realm of rejection in this arc, so we finally get to see what that's like in part Redacted. Okay, it's part 26 that I scratched out the part number. Also, it was, hang on, let me look. Oh, wait, yeah, I think it was, yeah, this comic where I started putting the part number to the left instead of centering it under the title, because I think that looks better, and it's where most actual comics put their issue numbers, so I just put the part number in the corner. And later on I add the Spsa Comix logo, but yeah, so, yeah, it's this comic where I started doing that. But yeah, they're in the realm of rejection, and basically, if you're here, it's insanely... and Phil Swift resides in the realm of rejection in this universe for some reason. Phil Swift exists in this universe for some reason. Yes, we know it works underwater. Pretty sure you can make the Flex car work underwater. Yeah, so... yeah, that meme, I parodied that meme. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this arc. It's the final big arc before, I kind of ran out of ideas for how to push this story forward and decided, screw it, I have a bunch of new ideas I want to use for this series, so let's reboot the timeline. But before we get to the rebooted timeline with parts 41 and beyond, let's finish up with parts 29 through 40. Not even gonna lie to you guys, this section of the comic is hot garbage. Why? Because it doesn't really do anything. So we get, yeah, so Eggman's defeated, or at least seemingly defeated. We get, the introduction of Infinite and one of Supersonic Plushie's dumb Sonic OCs. And Sonic is defeated. Oh, no, Sonic's just straight up dead. Yeah, Sonic's just straight up dead. Which I'd actually like to see in either an actual comic or an actual game, but, of course, they don't have the balls for that. But, yeah. Sonic's actually dead. And fast forward 75 whole years, the characters don't age. Well, SPSA and Fire Knight, it's forgivable because they're Christ figures, but why doesn't anybody else age? Also, we get my Sonic OC, which Supersonic Pussies has stolen from me and totally butchered his design. But we don't talk about that. Yes, so, yes. And we're introduced to classic Sonic, and I tie this back to Sonic Forces for some reason. Even though, at this point, when I wrote this, I still thought Sonic Forces plot wasn't that bad, but now I realize it's horrendous. But, yeah, so we got a to be continued, and, Yeah, so how does this arc end? Does it end with the heroes defeating Infinite and Lightning the Hedgehog? No. Here's how it ends. It ends with Infinite launching the Anarchy Wave, which is similar to the Archie Comics Super Genesis Wave, and it reboots the timeline. Now I'm actually going to read the synopsis given by Spsa in part 40 for the entire series. So yeah, let's get into that. So here's the definitive thing. The world was gone. Infinite wiped out our timeline. We were back to square one. For like the third time, all of our work was wasted. So what did we work to do? Well, let me explain. And this is basically going over the entirety of the plot of the entire comic. Our first fight was against Reject Guy. His goal was to use the 7 pages of creation to destroy the multiverse. Little did we know, there was an even bigger threat looming over us. Except it was painfully obvious. Reject Guy sacrificed his soul to the demon Nomad, so Reject Guy teamed up with us to defeat the demon. I also died. Nomad killed me. Yeah, that happened. So, my team traveled back in time to defeat Nomad. Yeah, okay. Not moments later did we receive our next threat. Dr. Eggman. He wanted to conquer the world. When does he not? What a surprise. We swiftly defeated him. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is a very abridged telling of the plot. What do you want from me? A detailed explanation? That would be nice, but I've been kind of doing this for you the entire time. Or doing that for you the entire time. And last but not least, 75 years later, we were up against Infinite. His ultimate goal? Was to rewrite the timeline. So now, the timeline is reset. So who knows what's in store for me and my friends. Oh, shit. Oh yeah, I was gonna get a final count. So yeah, let me do that, and then we'll wrap this up. So this is the final count of this word, 76. Although I did update it for when he gets cut off here to 77. So yeah, 77. They say that word a total of 77 times over the course of 40 parts. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about the reboot and my plans for it. So I just realized I created this, the Freedom mid-series recap, which kind of goes over what was the middle of the series at the time, and kind of talks about it a little bit more in depth. And yeah, so I'm joined by him. Yeah, so how long will Freedom be? My answer, no idea. Do you like chocolate cake? Yes. Yes, I do. I don't want to reveal anything about that collaborative comic. Yeah, I don't know. The 75 years later arc, I pretty much had this grand plan, but here's everything. Here's, yeah, the arc, that arc explained, so I'll let you pause to read that. But yeah, it's gonna be the biggest arc Freedom has ever seen. Not really. Yeah, so after 75 years later ends. I want to do another one of these to kind of, yeah. Will you do a series recap or you give your thoughts on the whole project? Pretty much what this video is doing, but yeah. Yeah, pretty much what this video is doing. But yeah. Now that we're done with this, we can jump into my thoughts on the art and what's next for this video series. So we've done a pretty detailed synopsis on the plot, but what about the art? What can I say that I haven't said already about the art of other comics? I think the facial expressions are pretty good in this. They're definitely the best these comics have seen yet, and mostly because I employ different tactics than I usually do in terms of facial expressions and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Where does the series go from here? Because we have one more comic to take a look at. So let's get into that next, and the outro, of course. Alrighty, so what comic is next? The last comic we have to look at in this 5-part mini-series is What If Peach Got the Triforce 2019, which is still a work in progress, but I'll show off what I have of it so far. So yeah, anyway, please subscribe to the channel. I'm still trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2021. Also, like and comment and do all that stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! This is probably the last time I'm going to bring up the graph, but still trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2021. So if you like my content, please subscribe, and also like the video and comment if you want. But anyway, on to the show. Before we jump into the final part of the series, with What If Peach Got the Triforce, the 2019 remake, also have one last behind the scenes type thing to wrap up the series too. But yeah, we're going to take a brief detour and talk about SPSA Comics' Sonic the Hedgehog. My Sonic fan comic. Anyway, let's jump right in. Now you're probably thinking, SPSA, why are you covering this comic when it doesn't fit in with any previously established SPSA Comics continuity and it's its own thing? It's still an SPSA Comics produced comic, so why not cover it? Now before we dive too deep in, credit where credit is due, I did borrow Project SMT's fan character for this, so yeah, SMT does feature heavily in this, and I just want to give credit where credit is due. So I don't get the "you stole this character" comments in the comments. Credit where it's due. Alright, so what's the comic about? Well, the first 5 issues are basically an abridged retelling of the comic that SMT initially came from, just because I thought that was a good starting point. Like that facial expression for Eggman, it's very exaggerated. It's fun. But yeah, pretty much, if you've seen Project SMT's video on her comic, it pretty much hits the exact same beats as that. It's only until after issue 5 that it starts picking up. But yeah, so I'll go over the art in the end. But yeah, I did make some changes, like she uses the mushroom to land on this time. And in part, and for the sake of time, I cut out the second Eggman robot fight. So they just find the they beat up the robot, find the emerald. I guess it was Chocola Chow originally, but I changed it to a Chaos Emerald. Just to highlight that, hey, they're somewhat important in this story. That's Chaos Emerald. Yeah, no duh, Sonic. You've seen it like a billion. You've seen one like a billion times before. And then we have some exposition from Dr. Eggman, except not really, because he doesn't really reveal much until later. So they spend the rest of Part 4 and a majority of Part 5. Kept this joke, and this one. But one thing I did change is this. Oh, yeah. Just bust another hole in the wall. I can't. The wall's made of plexiglass. And then rather than faffing about for like another 20 minutes trying to find the way out, okay, I'm not bashing Project S&T's storytelling. Sonic comments that he's busted through a glass building before, and she used that as an opportunity to crash through the glass wall. Why would that AK put stairs behind a glass wall? Good question. I have no idea. But they use the stairs to escape. A few months later, we get some mandatory shipping fuel. Okay, I won't rip on that too much. Maybe a little, but not too much. But yeah, so yeah, we end with S&T going back to Green Hill, back to the Resistance base in Green Hill. With Sonic. Now, one thing I want to highlight before I continue on is S&T's dynamic with Sonic. I think it's pretty good. I definitely show that well. And it's pretty good, but I kind of shift the dynamic away from Sonic and S&T, and kind of have her develop a dynamic with Flame the Hedgehog, my fan character, and we'll see that later. And here he is, Flame the Hedgehog. God, it screams lame generic Sonic OC, but that's really what he was back then. I have a second OC in here that is based off of a Force's character, and I think her design is a lot more interesting than Flame's. But I made Flame back when I was in the 7th grade, so yeah. And he was always meant to be, in my headcanon at least, kind of the future version of Sonic, where he lives in a dystopian future where Sonic is dead, and he basically takes over for Sonic, or I guess fills the role that Sonic had in the story, and yeah, so, yeah, so Flame is from another zone. And I kind of elaborate upon that later on in the story, but yeah, Flame is from another zone. A zone where Eggman's won. Yeah. Yeah, basically the zone is supposed to be... what if the Archie comics never... Yeah, basically Flame Zone is, what if the Archie comics never rebooted and, it just continued and they defeated Eggman again, but Eggman somehow had another... But since the Eggman, they fight from, like, issue, like, 70-something onwards is a robot, pretty much. Eggman has another robotic body, and he just downloads his consciousness into that, and then he kills Sonic, and then 75 years later, he takes over again. But yeah, S&T kind of plays a larger role in the story as it progresses, because she is an artificial chaos battery. Basically, she can store and... She can store and harness chaos energy. So yeah, rather than the whole special aura thing, which I still think is pretty cool in its own right, I decided to tie her, I guess, abilities to something already established in the Sonic lore. Yeah, so yeah, they're trying to find a way to heal S&T because off panel she gets defeated by Dr. Eggman. Except it's not really off panel because the first Sonic Super Special, or the first Super Special, which I do after every 10 issues, kind of touches upon what happened to her between Part 5 and Part 7. But yeah, she was developed as a Chaos Battery, but Sonic's morals turned her against Eggman because, in this continuity at least, she was created from Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles' biodata. Pretty simple. So yeah, she has pretty much all of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles' previously established abilities. But yeah, pretty much it. Yeah, so yeah, you can recharge her with a Chaos Emerald, which if you've forgotten, because I don't really touch upon it until now, they got a Chaos Emerald in the I think 3rd or 4th issue. It's the 4th issue where they get the Chaos Emerald, so they charge S&T, more angsty Amy, because why not? Even though I shift the dynamic from Sonic to Flame, so she has no reason to be angsty. But yeah, so they use the Emerald to recharge S&T, and it changes her appearance. So I've been drawing this design for her. Now, originally I used her S&T Forces design, but now I use her, I guess, main one. Don't know why I made that change, but, eh. But yeah, the issue 9, we actually get more on what Eggman is plotting to do. And that is to merge every zone together. And no, I did not get the whole dimensional merge thing from where you'd think I got it from. Yeah, his plan is to merge every zone together using
old machine design, the Ultimate Annihilator from issue 50 of the Archie comics, which he built into a Death Egg this time around. Although I kind of modeled it more off of the Space Colony arc from Sonic Adventure 2 rather than the Death Egg from, well, Sonic 2. No, but yeah, that's his plan, to merge every zone together, but of course, it backfires, as it does, because he did not have enough chaos energy to fuel his machine. Now I'm actually going to skip ahead to, the merge parts 1, 2, and 3, because that's where we get, pretty much everything comes to a head with this. So yeah, I'll skip ahead. So here we are with parts 29, 30, and 31. The 31 being the latest completed part that I have for this comic. But basically, this is the merge parts 1, 2, and 3. This is where it gets, where it starting. But yeah, so that Orbot kind of fills a plot hole that would be brought in. Wait, if you destroy the Prime Zone, you and Sonic will cease to exist, and you'll throw the entire multiverse off balance. The satellite will send me to a pocket zone, where I can create a new Prime Zone in my image. But you'd still need Sonic, so... You'd still need Sonic to make sure the dimensions are in check, so... Would you just... You'd still need Sonic to defeat... You'd still need a Sonic to defeat you to, keep the multiverse in check. Yeah, it still doesn't really make sense, but moving on. So yeah. S&T is able to, because she's an artificial chaos battery, she's able to, she's able to pretty much, I guess, transform into Super S&T at will. Which, yeah. Yeah, so, and it affects Sonic too, since he, I guess, is affected by chaos energy. But yeah, basically, the satellite backfires, and basically fires a laser at the planet that shatters we got the egg wrecking ball from Green Hill Act 1 and the egg driller from Emerald Hill Act 2. Or I guess it's Green Hill Act 3 and Emerald Hill Act 2 respectively, but yeah. That was just a decoy. Orbot, fire the weapon. Whoa, we don't have much time. Yeah, they don't. So I don't know why he said that. But yeah, they have to find the station's core before it's too late. And they do that. And Sonic destroys it. Or, I guess, they attempt to destroy it? And S&T gets trapped in a stasis tube. And the planet gets shattered apart. Sorry about that. And it ends on a cliffhanger, which will be, I guess, resolved in the next part 32, or issue 32. But we have the super specials, which are basically, I've kind of relegated 75 years later, the story arc that covers Flame's backstory. I've kind of relegated that to the super specials, so you'll be seeing a lot of that. But yeah, this is another one I'd love to dub eventually. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just standard Sonic shenanigans. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We have one last stop on this journey before the, I guess, bonus video. And that is What If Peach Got the Triforce 2019. See you guys in that video. Bye!
Alright, this is the last one, but note the graph. I'm still trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2021. So, yeah, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe if you enjoy the video. And also like and comment on the video if you like the video. But anyway, on to the video. We're bringing this series full circle with What If Peach Got the Triforce 2019. Yes, What If Peach Got the Triforce 2019. The final stop on this journey. And yeah, it's pretty much a beat for beat retelling, except not really, as you'll see later. But yeah, yes, so the oh, wait, are you sure you want to do that, Chief? That's funny. Yeah, so now I tweaked Peach's wish a little bit, but I didn't really change it that much. Yeah, so the Triforce is what changed the most. I pretty much made it this all-powerful thing that can actually grant Peach unlimited wishes. So yeah, there's that. And yes, so yeah. Yeah, I do have a lot of self-aware humor in here with Name Redacted and Fire Knight, because I thought it'd be funny, and can't show that. Nope, cannot show that, but I can show that while I turn the page. But yeah, can't show that either. But yeah, yeah, it's pretty much just a beat for beat retelling, although the reason I have them turn into furries is because I didn't feel like I cannot draw human characters to save my life. If you guys want to see me review some of my previous art, my previous safe for work art, let's just get that clear right now. My previous safe for work art, please let me know. Oh yeah, she wishes toads into existence, which, yeah, so the art, very much the same as it was in the original. Can't show that either. Can't show that either. And we got everyone's favorite, he's there, he's everywhere, he's motherfucking Juan. And that's my one swear word for this video. But yeah, part 3, more of the same. Now it does actually... Oh yeah, and the return of the I ate a toad joke. I don't even reference that joke in the original, or when I reviewed the original, but yeah, that was a thing. You can thank Fire Knight for that. It's not really that bad of a joke as much as I like to make fun of it. It's not that bad of a joke, even though it's kind of gross. Are you my mom? Yes, Link. Apparently she is your mother. And Zelda, you are... I don't get the monarchy in this world. Peach is technically the queen, and Zelda would be the princess? I don't freaking know. But yeah, and then we have the Bowser's having a party thing, which is a ploy to kidnap Princess Peach. Bowser and Eggman are kind of idiots. I forgot to mention that in the original, or in the review of the original comic, but yeah, they're kind of idiots. And Spsa. Nope, because soon I'll have the object on your right hand. And I'll rule this timeline. Yeah, Spsa is still the bad guy here. Don't frick with unlimited power. Yeah, okay. But yeah, there's You keep an eye out for a guy in a black bandana. He's trying to get the Triforce. I know, I got him. Yeah, okay. But yeah, as I was saying before, it does cross over into the Freedom timeline. So part 5 is actually part of Freedom. Hey, you want your kid? Come get him. Eggman, wait, isn't he the guy that eats toads? Yes, yeah, there's that. Yeah, I know, but he's hot. I mean, my brother, but... What? Okay, I don't have any explanation for that. But yeah, it does cross over into the Freedom timeline. Oh yeah, I did draw the derpy horse again. I didn't actually show the derpy horse in the original. Hang on. Let's see which one's better or which one's worse. So here's the original derpy horse. And here's the remake derpy horse. I honestly think both of them are terrible, but... I don't know, the original derpy horse has kind of a weird-ish charm to it. And, yeah, I used the same excuse for not drawing the derpy horse in both. Now let's continue on foot. I don't trust derpy horses. So yeah, there's that. The story pretty much continues. Well, I did it. I drew the derpy horse. Oh god, it looks worse now. That's debatable. Yeah, that's debatable. And the name redacted comes in. Yeah. So there's that. And then it gets back into the story. We should have taken the derpy horse. Nah. Yeah, never trust derpy horses. See, Zelda gets it! Freaking... Oh, no. Peach gets it! Jesus. Yeah, and then we get the whole magical comic thing returns in this. Even though in the current timeline, he doesn't... In the current reboot timeline, he doesn't have it anymore. So, yeah. We continued in Freedom Part 33. So, yeah, that... It was connected. Freedom... I forgot to mention that in the original Freedom review, but it was connected. And then... Project Smiles. Yes, I am introducing stuff from my novel, You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smiles, into this, which... Yeah, okay. Really? You're using a highly experimental nanocomputer to make ice cream? Yeah, why not? Yeah, so... yeah, there's that. Again, he could be making ice cream. Nah, I doubt it. So yeah, that's currently what we're up to. The Smiles activates. Gives SPSA an ice cream recipe, and now I bring back. Insert puking noises here. So in this case, it would be, what if SPSA went back in time to stop? What if Mario got the Triforce? God dang it, this is a really long title! Yeah, so, he opens a portal to what if Mario got the Triforce. I haven't crossed out Peach and put Mario up there with the, original what if Mario got the Triforce logo. And, yeah. So it, what the hell are you on? Doesn't matter, I'm erasing this mistake. What a mistake? Why tell you when I can show you? It starts with a simple wish. So yeah, it pretty much is a very, very abridged retelling of what if Mario got the Triforce. And it won't be as vomit-inducing as it was before, but yeah, that's pretty much what we're at. So far, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'll give my overall thoughts on the comic and, everything I've done so far. This remake. Do I think it's better than the original? Do I think the original is bad? Okay, let me clear this up. I don't think the original is bad. It was, of course, my first work, but it wasn't bad. Yeah, it of course was my first work, but it wasn't bad. Or, I guess it would technically be my second work, but you know what I'm saying. It wasn't bad. The art here has definitely seen massive improvements just because I use my current stick figure art style rather than trying to replicate the old one. Yeah, I'm not trying to replicate the old one. Can't show that. Yeah, so. Yeah, there's no turning back from it. Yeah, so. The art's pretty good. It's on par with my current stuff. The story, I made the story flow together a lot better here than the original. Yeah, so the art's not bad. The story's much better told than the original. It's not much better written, but it is much better told than the original. But yeah, that's basically it. This has been the SPSA Comics retrospective. I've been SPSA, and I bid you all farewell. Oh, good God, has it really been 9 months? Oh, well, let's fix that. Yep, there is a reason why I haven't done the outro video for this series yet, and that's because there is one more thing I want to talk about. So with that being said, welcome to part 7 of the SPSA Comics Marathon, a retrospective review series where I take a look back at everything I've ever created under the SPSA Comics brand. So, with that being said, let's jump right in. Mini comics. Yep, that is going to be the topic of this final part before the outro video. And I have 2 mini comics series. The first one I kind of abandoned, and it's SPSA Comics Mini. It's basically just little as if movie style mini stories. I can't draw corn. Yeah, I can't draw corn. That's it. It's just corn. Yeah. So SPSA Comics Mini is just little bite-sized stories that don't really fit in anywhere else. And it only got 1 completed episode. That's a circle. Oh, because it's called The Square and I drew a circle. Yeah, okay. Don't know why I didn't put anything there. The World. This is kind of dumb. The end. Yeah. Then we got Extreme Sports. Nah, dude, it's just bowling. Yeah. The War. And then, yeah, the outro. Yeah. So yeah, there was only 1 completed episode of this series, and it's this. And episode 2 starts off with the... I'm not sure I'm allowed to say that word on YouTube. But yeah, this volume was never completed, or this episode was never completed. Yeah, but I abandoned this series shortly after for... Whoops. This one. Board Comics Mini. Episodes 1 through 15. And this is the new mini comic series. So let me get them out of the bag so we can take a look. Here it is, Board Comics Mini. And it's just a little 8-page mini comic that has a bunch of little skits in it. Now there's actually an underlying story with SPSA and Fire Knight. Basically, the premise is SPSA and Fire Knight are... I'm kind of in a, like, comic brainstorming session, and they are, they're saying different, or they're just shouting out different words, and, they are, saying, or making little comic skits based off of those words. So, for instance, we have flower, And then we got a flower. And then we got, not a lot to say that on YouTube, but we do have that. Because we were in the thick of the pandemic when I made this. And I wanted to do something related to it. And then we have tacos. So Juan will make an appearance here. At least I think it's Juan. Yeah, it's Juan. Yeah, it's Juan. So yeah, and it's basically just 15 episodes of that. And we have Run Out of Ideas edition. And yes, I did lose count. So we're back at comic 1. Yeah, so these 4 were, the first 4 were made. What time is it? It's dark. Yeah. Light. Yep. That's it. Yep, that's it. That's all these are. Just little mini skits. And yeah, I sometimes just pump these out when I'm in between major projects, so like Freedom and the like. But yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, so that's it for these mini comics. That's it for these little mini comics. Yeah, so I know this episode was kind of short, but that's because there was really not much here to talk about, in terms of actual content, because, the premise of these comics pretty much speak for themselves. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys like this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you do. Or if you did, I am trying to hit 200 subscribers by the end of 2022, and with your guys' help, I can do that. Sorry about that. Yeah, I can do that. So anyway, see you guys later. Bye for now. So it took 3 years, but I finally went over everything within the SPSA Comics canon. Now, the only 2 things not pictured here are What If Peach Got the Triforce 2016, or the original What If Peach Got the Triforce, and Freedom 2017, of course. Because I misplaced one and, of course, lost the other. But yeah, so, that's pretty much it. But to conclude, I want to go over some things that I missed in the over the course of the series, and just talk about the future of SPSA Comics. So first up, I completely forgot to go over the art for SPSA Comics Sonic. So, what are my thoughts? Now, of course, SPSA Comics Sonic uses my standard Sonic art style of being passable, but not really all that great. And I do think the art at times looks pretty good. This cover isn't indicative of that. And I don't feel like going through all 33 issues to find a good example. Hang on, I'll find a good example, actually. Okay. If it'll focus, there we go. This is a pretty good example of decent-ish art for this comic. The comics cover, this is issue 25. This comics cover simply has Flame just standing, and that's it. Sometimes simplicity is good in this instance. Bad example is this one. What is it? What are Sonic's quills here? Yeah. So yeah, the art kind of varies in quality sometimes. Yeah. The last thing I want to show off in this outro video is how I'm packaging the comics now. Now before I had every single issue or part
split up into, or in one bag. And while that was fine, it was kind of ruining them, ruining like the covers and stuff. So what I've done instead now is I have it split into two volumes, or well, two or more volumes. We have, let's use Sonic for an example. I'll show off Freedom as well and how that's all sorted out. But I have issues 1 through 20, which make up volume 1 in this bag. And then issues 21 through 40, which make up the second volume in this bag. And I know it's kind of confusing with Sonic because it's the second super special, because I do these super specials after every 10th issue, but that's how I'm organizing it. So let's show off. Before I do, here's Freedom's original bag. It is beaten up to all hell, and it just, my storage of these comics needed an overhaul, and I think this system that I've come up with works out nicely. So let's take a look at the first volume of Freedom, which is parts 1 through 20. Volume of Freedom, and it's basically just the comics, parts 1 through 20, and this was done just to make sure that the comics are better preserved, because, like, look at this. Part 1 is just trashed. Like, the first page is just trashed to all hell, and it does not look that good. So this is the first bag, which is parts 1 through 20, and the second bag for Freedom 2019. It does have a third bag, but I'm going to save that for when I actually review those parts later on, which will be separate from the series, because it's just a retrospective series, and that's what's currently happening. But I'll give you guys a sneak peek at the end. But here's parts 21 through 40, which, we have 21 all the way up to the end of this particular comic, which is part 40. And I actually want to show off that because I actually redid the final page. Because the final page was kind of meh quality-wise, so I redid it, and that's this. So I think I showed it off in the original video, but I'm not quite sure. But if you guys were curious, the final count for that particular word is 77. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, I will give a sneak peek into the future, and that's this. Parts 41 through 60 are up next, and this is all a part of the post-Anarchy Wave continuity, where it's all different and stuff. But I will have more details and stuff in its own review, which will be, again, separate from the series, because the series was just a look-back retrospective, and this is current. So this will be a part of the regular SPSA review stuff series, and not a part of this one. Alrighty, so that's pretty much it for the SPSA Comics Marathon, the retrospective series where I take a look back at everything I've made under the SPSA Comics brand. If you guys like this video, please drop a like, and also comment and subscribe. I am trying to get to 200 subscribers by the end of 2022. So I will see you guys in the next video, or I will see you guys whenever. Bye!